Is it safe to work in that world?
We all hate paying taxes, but it is set up to help you in retirement to basically build wealth.
What are some initial steps I should take to start taking that $500 and maybe putting into something that could be helpful later down the road?
I mean, the first thing is always create a plan for yourself, whether it's a personal finance plan or it's, a 20-year business plan. I mean, I think writing things down, no matter what it is become a lost art.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm constantly, if you go to my desk anywhere, I've got sticky pads.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I remember for your videos and stuff too. You got the whiteboard, sticky notes, and everything too. Yeah.
I just think you have to. We're so we've become so used to the phone and the iPhone and whatever, and not just writing things down. I think it's got to start. It's got to start there with writing things down. I mean, there's a ton. I mean, one of the great parts of technology is there's apps all over the place now that can help track your spending. I'll remember one that's. I'm forgetting right now off the top of my head, but there are many out there you can find that basically help you start kind of creating a budget. There are numerous apps that can help you start, financially planning, like making you think about, where you want to be and how much money you may think you may be earning down the road, and how you can kind of take those small steps over time. But, again, it's always basic. It's like save more than you spend, right?
Yeah.
And that's easy to say, but it's obviously very difficult for most Americans to do because the cost of living is what it is. Obviously, living in cities like LA make it difficult, but, you've seen people recognize that they can't, if they're going to have a life, that, they're going to move to a city somewhere where the cost of living is manageable.
Yeah.
And then, but starting that process of, saving, more than you're earning when you've saved up, maybe is it a year's worth of living expenses? Once you have that put aside, then maybe you start with, you start investing and you start, and if you own, if you're an entrepreneur, that means, starting some kind of a retirement account because, there's tax benefits with that. And that's a whole nother subject to discuss with people who don't, understand kind of how there's a ways to benefit from the tax system. We all hate paying taxes, but it is set up to help you in retirement to basically build wealth over time.
Interesting. Yeah. So, cause even writing stuff down and what I've seen in my life and people around me too, is that if you're not creating a plan, and yes, in entrepreneurship, things can go left, right, you're always prepared for whatever's out there. But if the money's there, you spend it. If you're writing things down and you're saying, okay, I'm going to allocate this much and just put this over here and just going to save up for the year, and you're not going to touch that, then you're just playing with this money over here, and it's a lot easier to manage versus just kind of a free for all, or not having a plan, or nothing written down or something just in your notes. And so I think that's a huge key to just get things started. Something that I need to do better at as well. And then recently went to the movie theater and saw a movie called Dumb Money. Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
You probably don't even need to. You probably know exactly what went on, and maybe I'm not sure how exaggerated the film was. But when you talk about investing and you have these apps like Robinhood and stuff like that, is it safe to work in that world? After watching that movie and seeing how things were cheated at the end, kind of just, you start to lose faith in the rules and everything within the investment world.
That's a complex question.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was a question. I was like,
no,
he's like, I didn't see the film.
No, I appreciate that. So there's a few layers to that. And I think we were talking a little off camera about, I think there's two parts to that. The first is what some people that I learn a great deal from you really quickly. You talked earlier about, all this information. The one great thing, one of the best parts about what I do now is what I call the democratization of research, right? The ability now that there are some really, really smart people that have great track records that are now out on their own, and they're basically talking through what's happening, right? So people like me I follow them, and I can kind of, hate to use the word dumb it down, but what they're saying is high level. I can bring it down to a place where I can educate other people on, what's going on, what's going on and why, because people want to know why, kind of to what you were just alluding to with with what happened with GameStop.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of issues with how it's called Old Wall Street. It's kind of a fin-twit joke that it's just it's a crooked. It is a place. It's a nefarious, crooked place where salespeople are trying to make money off of individuals. No question. They want to line their pockets. I worked in that world for 15 years. The opinions that people have of it are deserved. Every day you're hearing a story about this bank did this and this bank did that. They get the slap on the hand and off they go, and they're off doing something else that's probably, needs more attorneys.
That's where to put it.
But yet they continue to do it. But people now have kind of, they're smarter. They've caught up to it. There's social media. They understand, maybe I can go do this on my own. You talk about Robinhood. The environment of finance is very complex. It's something where I'm 46, 47. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'm always learning something new. Just how the game is changing. But in the end of the day, people need a voice. They need someone that's knowledgeable, that's trustworthy, that understands what's going on, and can explain to them what's going on and why. Not be on Instagram or some other platform or TikTok saying they should buy the latest, digital coin and have absolutely zero, time in the market behind them at all. I understand people are very distrusting of it, and I think it's all about reaching. I want to reach as many people as possible, saying yes, there are I want to get people out of a box. There's just everything about at least finance and making money is let's get people like a 401k, for instance. And I'm not going against the 401k. I'm just saying it's all about let's put people in a box where we can charge them a fee. It looks like it's nice and neat, and they're often running warrant fees, and that's that. And it's way more.
Yeah,
it's way more than that. More and more people they have access to information. They're going to question you more. They're going to be more distrusting. You got to give them, don't BS with them. Tell them what's happening and why do you think it's happening.